Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for a brand new show. It's Sunday and this is going to be the Sunday slot, and we are going to be watching Non Biyori. I said it during the Great Pretender reaction, the first one. I put both of those and some other things on a poll, and Great Pretender and Non Biyori came within 5 votes of each other, with Great Pretender just ahead of winning the Friday slot. So I figured, well, I've got Friday open, and I guess I've got Sunday open, so I might as well watch both shows. So that's what we're gonna do. I will say, and I'm just starting off by saying this as a sort of a full disclosure sort of thing, and being transparent. This is not going to be a super consistent slot. Sundays have been a rough day for me. Basically, I started taking Saturday as my day off, and now Saturday is when I do D&D, and that ends up not being a day off. It ends up being me as a DM, like thinking and talking all day Saturday, and that's hard. So Sunday has sort of morphed into my day off, and now I'm putting a show there, and the caveat to that is that it won't be super consistent. So this show will be coming out. I will be watching it on Sunday when I can, when I'm able to, and I want to be watching it, but will it be every single week without fail? No. Just gonna say that straight out. I will be as open about that in the Discord and telling people, like, well, this week it's not happening if I wake up and I'm really exhausted on Sunday and I need the day to rest, but that's the way it's going to be. So I'm just letting y'all know. So, Non Biyori, what is this show? I don't fully know. I know that it's sort of a cute girls thing. I know that it's a sort of a slice of lifey thing. I know that some people have called it an Iyashikei thing, where it's kind of a healing-y thing. But as a genre, or as a form, it's only listed as seinen, and that means that I've come across this show many times, because a lot of the time when I look for shows to watch, I'm gonna sort by seinen, because they're shows that really like resonate with me, as an adult male, right? Like, I am the target audience for that, and so they work. But I've come across Non Biyori and I've ignored it a lot because it doesn't look like seinen. You know, you look through seinen and you're like, oh yeah, dark and interesting, psychological and thrillery. Adults doing crime dramas and stuff. That's seinen. What's this show with these cute girls, and what's this? I don't know. But I'm curious, and I'm doubly curious because the first time that I really put it on a poll, where something else didn't have like a clear chance of like destroying it, it came really close to winning, and a lot of people seem to want to see it. So I'm intrigued. Do I think this is going to be a super deep show? No, not in its specific content, but maybe in its impression, and maybe in the way that it feels. There's something to be said about a certain degree of simplicity in creating vibes as opposed to creating stories. And I get the feeling, and I don't know this, but I get the feeling from the art that I've seen of this show, from the memes that I've seen of this show, and from the way that people talk about the show, that this is a show where its simplicity is maybe its draw. And some things about the promo art, which is basically what I'm limiting myself to in terms of research here at the beginning, because I can go and I can look at the director, and I've never seen any of his specific work. I've seen some of the things that he's episode directed, but I've never seen any of his specific work, and I'm not familiar with the mangaka, so I don't have any significant grounding in terms of the production people to instantly understand where this show is going. So I'm limiting myself mostly to the production material and also the time, the context of the season that it aired. So in the promo art, in the first one, and in most of them, there are girls, and there are 4 of them, and they all have different hair colors. Classic stuff. Nothing to be unexpected there. Very expected thing. Doesn't tell us much about the show, because there are lots of shows with 4 fucking girls who do various things. K-On! Is a show like that. Girls in Panzer is a show like that. Very different shows, but also cute girls doing cute things, very similar shows that sort of have this nostalgic maybe quality. It resonates. There's something there that I think we understand implicitly about a show where we see 4 girls with different hair colors, right? Something about that makes sense. Also, all of the promo art is very focused on those girls. There's not a lot going on around them, which speaks to me of, like, this isn't these girls in a school where they battle each other and shit, and they have to have swords and like flaring lights and stuff, and like everything's dramatic and stuff. None of that. It's all very like flat shots of these characters doing stuff together, like either walking somewhere together or like walking toward the camera together, and some of them are like embracing and have arms over each other, and like they're friends. They're just friends, and they seem to be going to school. Cool. Simple as it could possibly be. In all of the promo art, there is nature. In the main art piece for the first season, it's just a distant landscape behind them filled with tree covered natural mountains that don't seem inhabited at all. There are no buildings. They're walking on a road, but it's a small road and like a country road. And then in the very foreground, there's a little bit of like cultivated nature where we have like stakes with stuff growing up them. And I don't know if that's like a front of yard garden or if that's like more of a farm. But I get the impression that it might be more of a farm because they are walking past a sign with a cow on it. And I don't know if it's got a little bit of Japanese text and I can't read it, but I assume it just says like, watch out for cows, because that's the kind of thing that you see on rural country roads. It's possible that a cow will wander into the street and you got to deal with that. So I think we are going to be transported quickly and transported soon to an unfamiliar location, that being a simpler life in rural Japan. Modern rural Japan, as far as I can tell, given that they're wearing the backpacks and we got signage and stuff like that, but I'm not entirely sure. But I think it's modern rural Japan. But in a way, that's a sort of a way to travel back in time a little bit, because a rural location is very different and a little bit slower and a little bit calmer, and is a different place to live than living in the city or even living in a suburb or in a town. And a lot of our cute girls doing cute things type shows are set in suburbs or towns, with a big school, and everybody goes there, and maybe there are multiple schools. This strikes me as the kind of place where there's one school and where everybody goes to the same school and everybody knows each other. And that's a very different vibe and a very different feeling. And I think, just coming in from the outset, that that's probably a big part of the aesthetic appeal of the show. Not just the visuals, but the aesthetic. Where are we? Why does it feel the way that it does? Because we're out in nature to some extent. And then if this is the kind of slice of life that I think it is, that means that a lot of our focus is going to be on how do people live out their daily lives in this kind of a location? And what can we learn from them, being people sitting behind screens, living in cities or towns or whatever, watching anime about them? And I think that's pretty fun. It's got all the elements present, got something unique going on. It's got the characters going on to be an interesting cute girls doing cute things type of show. Not that it is necessarily that, but that it has elements of that, that invests us in a different landscape. So some of the elements remind me of things like Silver Spoon. Some of the location reminds me to some extent of things like Natsume Yujincho, but I don't know yet. But I don't think that there's like a thing going on in this show. We'll see. I think that the thing going on is just living your life and the way that these characters choose to address that and choose to approach their lives. So I'm pretty excited about that. It seems interesting, because there seems to be so little, and that may be in and of itself very interesting. It also reads as a comedy show, in terms of when I'm looking at the art, but I don't know that it's a comedy show because it's not listed as a comedy. So I'm sure it will be fun and silly, but I don't know if it will be abjectly over-the-toply funny, which I think is probably a good thing, because I don't know, as I've gotten older, that humor has not worked quite as well for me, and maybe that's just me being jaded to certain kinds of humor. I don't know. Regardless. So that's one piece, which is just the art stuff. And then another piece is just a thing that I find interesting. I don't know if it tells us much about the show, but that this show aired in fall of 2013 and what that means for what it was airing alongside and where it like falls into anime history. So I'm just going to list off the shows on the docket for fall of 2013 that like ring a bell for me, and just mention that I think fall of 2013 looks like it was a great year for anime. Fall of 2013 saw the emergence of Kill la Kill, Log Horizon, Magi, and Kyosogiga, while Hunter x Hunter 2011 was still airing and Monogatari's second season was coming out. So that's the like landscape of hot topic anime coming out at this moment. Bombastic insanity with Kill la Kill, a really unique and fairly early isekai in Log Horizon, a shonen classic to many people in Magi, and the goofy Kyosogiga, which was experimenting with lots of cool ideas. That's some cool stuff to be airing alongside, and to make it alongside, shows that are just sort of, how do I put this? There's always a few cute girls doing cute things shows coming out. So for one of them to stand out in people's minds and to be present in their minds 8 years later means something. And when it was airing alongside all these other things that were taking up other people's time and that they were watching, it means something that people still remember and care about a show like Non Biyori. So that's exciting to me. Yeah, exciting to me. I'm excited to watch this. I'm excited to see what this is all about and whether I can even get a handle on it in the first episode. But that's my whole mindset going in. That's my whole everything that I know about this show going in, except that I know that there is a character named Renge who everybody calls Renchan, and I have seen memes of her. That's what I got. Great. I'll spend the moment here to shout out the people who are supporting this on my Patreon and the people who voted for it. Thanks for voting for it and for voting in general. It's good. Both politically and on anime YouTubers, it's good to vote. Get your voice out there. If you would also like to vote on what shows I watch next when I end a show in a slot, you can head over to the Patreon, which is linked in the description, and get those privileges up. Same goes for the Discord access, and for a slightly higher tier, you can get early access to the shows that I watch every week. So if that sounds appealing to you, go check it out. Also, if you like the way that I make my content, you can throw likes and you can comment on the video and you can subscribe and stuff. And all of those things help me get these videos out to more people because YouTube algorithms exist and it's helpful. So do that if you feel like it, and you can dislike it and say that I'm an idiot in the comments if you'd like to. I don't mind too much. I do read the comments, so please don't spoil things about the show. It's very much appreciated if you don't. I like to go into these things blind as a bat and echolocate my way through them. I don't know why I tried to extend that metaphor. It doesn't work. Okay. I have downloaded the episode 1 from the anonymous version of the subs because it's been recommended to me multiple times. There are a few different versions up on nya.si, which is where I get my anime most of the time. There are a few different versions, and in multiple of those versions, in the comments, people are saying the anonymous version is better. So I went and I found the anonymous version and I downloaded it. That's the version that I've got and the one that I'm going to watch. If you've got another version that you really think that I should be watching instead, let me know soon, and I will consider switching. But I've had quite a bit of feedback saying that the anonymous version is the one to use, and so I'm going to use that one to start at least. I've downloaded episode 1. I've got it up and ready to go, sitting at 0 seconds. Let's fucking roll. Let's roll into this. Yeah, let's rock. Okay, I've got episode 1 up and ready to go. It's sitting at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions of this reaction video, and this goes for every video in the future in the playlist. There will be a picture-in-picture version with the full video up here in the corner in the description, so you can just watch it. And then you can just watch me talk about it, and it's easy. And that will not have any of the discussion at the beginning or the discussion at the end on it, so come back here if you go and watch that version, and I'll talk about the show a lot more. You'll notice that the video is a lot longer than the episode, and part of that is that I've spent 15 minutes talking about it at the beginning here. That will become shorter as we move along. But part of that is that I'm going to talk about it at the end too, because I've put out all these ideas that I think I have about this show, and we're going to destroy a bunch of those hypotheses as soon as we get into the show, because I don't know what it's actually going to be, and I'm going to want to talk about what it actually is. So come back for the discussion, and if you want to sync up your own copy of Non Biyori with the timer-based version, which will be the YouTube video because copyright exists, if you want to sync up your own copy of the episode, you can absolutely do that. That timer-based version will be up on the YouTube, and it will have all the discussion on it, and you can just watch it, and you can sync up your own thing, and if you do that, then you can watch it in full screen, and you can minimize me, and the quality will be better, and maybe you want to do that, and that's good for you. But if that's what you want to do, grab your copy and get it ready, because there will be a beep beep timer to count you down to 0 when the timer starts. It will go red, yellow, yellow, green, and boop, 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 beep. On the beep and the green light will be the exact frame that I've synced up in post where I actually start watching the video and it actually starts playing, so you can sync up your own thing by waiting and hitting the space bar when you get to that point. Cool? Cool. Rad. Let's get into it. Beep beep timer. Right. Ooh, and calm. Okay. The texture on that pole looks great. Okay, farms. This feels like a motif. And there she is. Oh, she's playing that. Yeah. On a little recorder? Yeah. I've seen a meme of that, so that's why I'm able to put that together. Okay, little shrines. Oh. Okay, we got sisters, and they're very different. One is much more prim and proper, and one's much more energetic and foolish. That's good characterization right off the bat, man. Hello, cat. Ichijo. Are those moving boxes? I wasn't sure what those were. Hi. Cute little backpack. Ready for school. Okay, I think that was the same, that was a moving truck, maybe. Maybe not, but that's the impression that I got. So black-haired girl just moved here? Okay, goofy energetic one, waiting for sister. Already, just the amount of time that we're spending before really... There it is. Before introducing characters. Laid back and peaceful place. Who is speaking? Is it her? It's her. Okay. There it is, Ren-chan. Oh, there are cows. Ooh, cow. So Ren-chan has a weird focus, huh? Yes. Yeah, you're living in rural Japan. And straight into an OP. Wow. So we get a whole thing, one line of narrative exposition from one character, straight into OP. I'm just going to sit back and stop pretending to take notes, because I'm not going to be taking notes. Classic. Not even a KyoAni show. Jump shot. I like these character designs. Not the answer? Okay, we split them all up and they're all alone. We bring them all together. Cool. That's very cute. That's very cute. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay. A mysterious transfer student. What? What? Oh. Of course. Ne-chan wa. Okay. Okay, you're a little bit self-aware. What have you just bent down for? Okay, just fully getting distracted by things constantly. Cool. Mm, neat. Very neat. I hope that's not our bus. It is our bus. Yep. Oh, okay, there's the sister. So she's already there and on time. We all made it, though. Of course. Surprising. Oh. Did she just say exciting? That was the news? That was the news? Thrilling. That's a great looking tree. Asahiko Branch School. Okay. Low rural school. The locations and backgrounds are really good. How many desks are there? Oh, hello, newbie. What is that contraption? Oh, there's a dude. That sounds like a familiar voice actress. I don't know why, but I just immediately that sounds familiar. Okay, so the house that we saw before, Hotaru. I like her little swoosh. It's feathery. So this is all, it's a multi-grade school? Got it. So there are a total of 6 children anywhere? Wow. Yep. Go. Oh, hi. Ah. Because she seems like a goof. Ah. That's what it is. Okay, I was wondering. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. Yeah, they're all fully different. Yeah. This is a one-room schoolhouse. I'm sorry, what brother where? He's so not focused on. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Basically self-directed study. Damn. Okay. It's a very different school experience. Yeah, grade 179. And they all play together. Oh, I see. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I don't know that you were okay. Not joking. He just hasn't had a line and the camera has fully avoided him. Interesting. Do, 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 do. Yeah, that is the... That's probably Hotorun's. Hmm. Why would you lock your doors? Yeah. Right. No, we don't need keys. Uh-huh. I don't know. You're weird. Oh, that's cute. Okay, this is very cute so far. I don't understand completely, but I understand. Why would you lock anything? What? I don't get it. And I don't think Hotaru does either. But what? Oh my god. You just fully fell through. Yeah, no, the sense of light and these backgrounds are great. I thought they would be way lower fidelity than they are, to be honest. Renchon, you're the best. Okay. Sweet. Sweet. Hmm. I buy cups. God damn it. Oh, wow. Co-op store. Uh-huh. No convenies. Wow, that was great, the way that the multiple layers of her dress move. There's the sign. Boars 2. Oh, scary. Yeah. So that curiosity that Renchon put out there at the beginning. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They do have a TV, though. What? Uh, what is your special skill, Renchon? Oh my god. It's a Tanuki. Yeah, what? uh, uh, psychedelic name. Oh, that was an actual whistle. I feel like he's just gonna poop. What? What? Was that a setup, or are they gonna let it go in the next one and it'll be ding ding ding? Uh, uh. All the things that we think are normal are maybe not normal, but they're normal for us, so. What? What? Zooming. Oh, I see. I did not see. Oh, for sure. For sure. Weird justification, but okay. You do live in the sticks, though. Not that that's a bad thing, though. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just a... What is that? What is that? What is it? I mean, it's like meow hello, but... Mm, sure. Really does not. Yes, you just define it really narrowly and then we don't live in it. Nope. Why? It doesn't matter. 偉い子ちゃんですね. That's a great face. There have been a lot of great Renge faces. Okay, so we're not gonna use the like steal the eye thing. School milk. Oh no. Ah, nice. I have never eaten any of this. It's delicious. Uh-huh. Why? Ooh, a bamboo forest. Is that just straight up behind the school? That's dope. It's kind of nice out here. Oh, great scene. Beautiful scene. Hmm. What are we doing here? I mean, I understand what we're doing, but what are we doing emotionally here? That's what we're doing. Okay. Rad. Can't get this anywhere else. Breathe that fresh air. Yeah. Aww. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I don't know what just changed. I don't know what just happened. It was like it's like a moment of accepting this location for the first time. Oh, plus. Yeah, and so she's added to it, and so she's part of it. Oh, there it is. Okay, we did set up payoff. Oh, god damn it. Who else rides the bus? There's nobody else on the bus. Why'd they run away? Dang. Oh, but that's the going home bus. Cool, cool, cool. Fuck. In the sticks. That's such a great end. That's Fiend, right? Yeah, you funny. All right, and into ED. Okay, I'll let this play out, but that was great. I like that. I like that a lot. I really wonder who Hotaru's voice actress is. Hmm. Okay. An adventure. Yeah, true starlight. Well done, Silverlink. Oh, what is this? What? Is this a preview? It is a preview. Okay, going to the candy shop. Nice. This is a nice first episode. There's a lot happening in this one. And I mean, there's nothing happening in this one, but there's a lot that happens in this one. Ooh, this is going to be harder than I thought to wrap my head around. Because it is the aesthetic simplicity that makes everything interesting. Now, we tell the story of Hotaru engaging with this location, but we don't tell it from her perspective. We tell it mostly from Renchan's perspective. She strikes me as like the main force of the show at the moment, which tracks with the way that people have talked about her. So that's really interesting because I think usually, and this is a broad generalization, but usually in a fish out of water story, or where there is a fish out of water character like Hotaru, someone not from here, showing up here, we tell it from the perspective of that character entering a new world, and sort of like they meet a bunch of characters who show them the ropes. It seems like we're focusing on the characters who are introducing Hotaru into this new world, right? As opposed to being from her perspective, we're from the perspective of this is our normal, welcome to our normal. And that works really well for engaging us, the audience, with someone else's normal, right? That's really interesting. And starting it off with Renchan's question, that is like the main driving force question of the episode, for sure, which is, do we live in the sticks? And it's a silly question in multiple ways. The main one that strikes me as silly is, one, the fuck do you mean by the sticks? Well, we know what it means, but what does it mean, right? Certainly you live in rural Japan. You're in the country. does that mean that it's the sort of derogatory term "the sticks"? Because that's how we use it, and the answer is, well, yes, but what does that mean? And then, is it a good or a bad thing to do that? And the answer is neither. It's not implicitly, like, good or bad, it's just a thing. It's just where you live, and it's different, and that doesn't mean that it's either good or bad. That's really interesting, and that immediately is quite powerful, I think, because it sort of, as the start of the episode, it negates a lot of the, I don't know, like, the teasing that could go on, because this is the curiosity of these characters. There's no way to be like, "Aha, you live in the sticks," because we sort of uncover the idea that that's a silly way of looking at things, right? That's really interesting to me, and I think it's quite clever. Okay. In a weird way, in a weird way, this show, in its construction, reminds me significantly of Mushishi, and it's not for the reasons that you might think. Those reasons being because it's in rural Japan, because there's lots of nature, because of all these things. Instead, it is because of the overwhelming focus throughout the course of the show on atmosphere, on the location being the core character, as far as I can tell, within which all of our characters run their stories. Setting is more of an element than any of the individual characters themselves, right? And I think that's exemplified by this opening sequence, which goes a lot longer than I expected it to. There's sort of a flow that I expect from a lot of different shows where there's like a certain amount of time. I couldn't put my finger on how long it is, but a certain amount of time that we dedicate towards setting up shots and doing this sort of set and setting creation in the beginning, right? And we do a lot more of it than I expected because it needs, the way that I see it is, it needs time to soak in. It needs time to get into my brain that we're really here. And the length of time and the different shots that we show and the birds chirping in the background and the music that blends the actual musical notes with what Renge is playing, all sort of fold together to create the setting and to finally ease you into it. And that is a lot of the purpose of this first episode, is easing you into it. Familiar things and unfamiliar. Music that plays over all of it. And we also see that I think the background art is really good. First off, it doesn't have the sort of bland digitally feel, because it's obviously not. It's all done by hand, digitally, not, but regardless of that. But none of the backgrounds have that digitally feel. They all have a bit of a hand touched look, including the inside of the schoolhouse, which is where I sort of expected it to lose some of that fidelity, and it doesn't. Does it compete with KyoAni level backgrounds? I mean, just turn into a pig for a second. I don't know that it does, but I don't know that it needs to, because it's got its own aesthetic sensibility, and I think it's very pretty. I do think that the sense of light throughout these backgrounds, on rooftops, on floors, on bits of stone, on leaves, the sense of light in the location is really, really excellent, and makes me wonder who's responsible for background art and art direction. Because I don't know, and I don't know if I've seen this person's work before, but it feels familiar to me, and it feels like it might be a connecting thread through multiple Silverlink shows. Just an expectation. So I'm going to write down background art and art direction for when I go and eventually look people up. Background art and art direction, as well as I want to know Hotaru's voice actress, because she sounds really familiar. So I'm going to write that down as well, and I will look those up. I love this little scene, and I mentioned it as it happened, but this little scene of these two characters tells us so much about them, like a lot about them. First off, their hairstyles. Obviously, we have to have distinctive hairstyles for two characters that look similar and have similar hair colors, so they do. But just having the longer hair on one and the shorter hair on the other gives us sort of she's the Genki, fiery, whatever, and the other one's more of the prim and proper, I guess, but not necessarily prim or proper, but she's much more together. And I mean, literally, she has all her shit together and is ready to go, whilst her sister is still running around in her pajamas, not ready to go, and sprints over here. And I think she sprints back, like, immediately having changed into her stuff, and is, like, sliding around and is haphazard and kind of goofy about all this stuff. And I think that's great. It tells us immediately who these two sisters are, and that they're sisters. I think that's a great sequence. Now, one of them also called the boy in the classroom their brother, I think. So, okay. All right. Well, he didn't get any screen time. He always was on the corner of things, which is very interesting. And I'm wondering if he will ever get any screen time or whether that will be his joke. I just don't know. Yeah, cats wandering around, lots of locations. I wasn't sure what this was because it's kind of got like a binding on the sides. I was like, is this a stupid weird book? But no, it's a moving box because Hotaru Ichijo just moves here. And their house is different. It looks a little bit less rural here, and has a car out front, which I don't know that we saw. We didn't see like a city car in most of these places. Like, we don't see a car at all here. This is like a little van thing, right? And then they've got like a Prius. It's like, oh, okay, a little different. But this is a good little scene of her setting herself up to get ready to go. And it sets her up as a character who is equal parts perhaps excited and a bit nervous, with her little red leather backpack and all that jazz. And it's a very cute backpack, and it's a very cute location, and a cute outfit, and a cute skirt, and a cute girl, and we're good. Birds chirping are throughout the episode. Just throughout it, and they're great. So running to meet Renchan. Again, there are lots of these little moments, these different landscapes and these different uses of light. Like here we have it kind of misty and kind of diffused and refracted by like a morning mist. And in other places we have it much clearer, and it's very cute. So then we have Renchan tell us, this is my place, this is what it is, this is what I expect from it, but I wonder, do I live in the sticks, as she focuses in on the cow. And there's something else going on with this scene, which is that there's this character running toward her, and that's obviously the focus of the scene that's going on, and Renchan is not in it. She's focused on something else, wondering in her own mind, and that, I think, tells us a lot about who this character is. I don't know, I'm not going to put my finger on it because I don't know who the fuck this character is, but I think this tells us a lot about the way that she operates. This, as well as once they start walking, she just sort of stops and is looking at stuff. It's not quite curiosity in a way of like, I want to understand how everything works curiosity, but it's a distractedness and a kind of maybe not airheadedness, but somewhere on that spectrum of being a little bit airheaded that probably will make her a very interesting character. And I know that a lot of people really like Renge, so I'm excited to see more of that. I think it works. Yeah. So an airheaded character, a mostly together character in the sister with the hair, and a not so together character who's a little bit more energetic and silly in the sister with the less hair. Solid. And then, of course, Hotaru. And that's fucking it, man. Like, that's all we got here. We got 4 characters. They do jump shots. They eat food. There's a boy in the room, but nobody pays attention to him. Oh, we do see that here, and we're teaching them a little chorus thing. Is he singing? He is. He's just constantly on the edge of frame. It's great. It's really great that he's just there to imbalance things. It's ridiculous. And then we sort of, throughout, over the course of the OP, we have characters together, and then separate. And it feels more somber when they're separate. It doesn't feel good. I mean, it feels okay, but then they all come back together again as the song builds back up. I love this moment in the OP. All in unison. We march to the drum beat, which is a slow drum beat of the life that we all live together. And it's this location and the things that we do to entertain ourselves, which are the entertainment of the show, I think. From festivals to fireworks to playing in the snow to jumping in the river, there is an infinite amount of stuff to do in a place where there's nothing to do. And that's really kind of a powerful idea, right? Because how many people are sitting around watching the show in rooms where they have infinite access to infinite information and infinite entertainment via technology, and they're sitting around going, God, I'm bored. Right? There's something about that's powerful. Because the first time that we see technology as such, electronic technology, really used in this episode, besides the bus perhaps, is in the ending, the preview, when the TV is on. And guess what? None of the fucking characters are around watching it, right? They're all out somewhere playing or going to school or doing something or like enticing a tanuki to do tricks. They're all doing stuff. And that's a powerful idea. You can find stuff to do when there's nothing to do, and it can be much more valuable to you. Or perhaps that the process of finding things to do when there's nothing to do is a valuable process. I also like this little moment of handing her a cherry petal, and that to extrapolate out from it, it's kind of what happens over the course of this episode, and it may be what will happen over the course of the show. These characters are taking what they have and they're sharing it with Hotaru, right? They're being like, "Welcome to our world. You're a part of it now. Here you go. Here's a piece of the beauty that's here," and she looks at it deeply excitedly and very happy and all that jazz, and that's cool. Character designs. They're simple. They're straightforward. I like them a lot. And they grew on me over the course of the show as well. Looking at just the promo art, obviously you can't really tell what these characters look like until you see them in motion, until you see their faces from multiple angles, until you see how they're being drawn. And I think they're being drawn very well, and in a very cool way. There's a very slight gradient to the hair. I mean, very slight. Like, it's just that there's light on the hair, and then there's the classic Lucky Star highlights, right? I like the differences in all of their hair. They're very, very recognizable, very specific. Renge, of course, with her like twin tail thing and her double ahoge is pretty standout as a character. Also her size being so much smaller than everyone else, and then the very like specific eye shape and form that she has, which makes her kind of goofy. Like she's got every other character has curved classic shit. I looked this up like 2 days ago. Tarime, Tsurime and Tarime. There you go. They all have the sort of Tsurime, the Tarime eyes, which are the big curved eyes, like all the characters in Lucky Star, right? Except for Renge, who's got these super flat, like tops of eyes. I don't know. It gives her a weird feeling, and I don't know exactly how to read it, but it is uniquely her, and it's kind of always her, and it's kind of cool. I also like the very slight blush on the cheeks that's there that makes these characters, and it's not just here where it's like she's blushing, but it's in all of the sequences. It makes these characters alive and a little bit colored in their skin and a little bit more vibrant, and I think that's good. I think it works. I think it works for these children because they're kids, right? But little blush on the cheeks. Sometimes it's there in some shows, sometimes it's not. It's just a choice whether we have it or not, and we do have it here, and I think it works. Yeah, cute, simple character designs, each unique, different hair colors, different hair shapes and styles, recognizable just from outlines, just from, like, if you were to just silhouette the characters, you would recognize them immediately, especially Renchan, who is by far the most unique of those hairstyles, right? That's, it works. It's good. Okay. Transfer student arrives. Renchan saying, she says, like, Ohio through the flute, I think is something that, or through the recorder, I think is something that everyone who has ever picked up a recorder has, like, spoken through it, and it sounds really silly. And it's great. I don't get the Nyampasu thing, but neither does anybody else, and so I think that's the point. I think I'm gonna guess that she picked it up from, like, a Saturday morning cartoon or like a manga or something, and she thinks it's an idea and a thing that she should do. That's how it reads to me, but I don't know. Regardless, it's kind of cute and silly, and Nyampasu, it works. It's cute and silly. So we walk around, and she keeps getting distracted by things. And this scene is perfectly emblematic of that. We are walking in a direction, and she just goes off camera for a while. And it's for a while. It's for like a moment here before we actually cut to her, right? Because we only cut to her when the other character recognizes that she's stopped. And then we turn over, and then she comes over and joins her as well. And Renge goes fully non sequitur, and we just have a moment here to chill. And we almost miss the bus because of it, right? The bus fully goes by us, and we almost miss it because we're goofy. I don't... Oh, okay. Right outside the window by the anchor, behind the anchor on the news. That's not what the news was. It's what was going on in the news. I see. Very simple, very silly. I really like this shot. It's kind of like somebody has brush painted different forms of light over this tree as different branches and stuff block light in different ways. It's kind of cool looking. I don't know. I like the way that all the wood textures look too. They all look very hand done, and it's great. Yeah, our little setup, which sort of isolates the girl's shoes and doesn't let us know how empty this school really is, because it is quite empty. And all of the little moments of setting and establishing shots to show us, I think this is some kind of boiler or something to heat the place, or the stove. Yeah, it's a stove in this room with a chimney out. And we see him for the first time, and he's just in the corner, nobody, just fully out of frame, does not engage, is awkward, and it's great. I don't know how to read this character. Her first line as she walks in is like half there. Let me see. Let me get to it. Door opens.
Hayo. Naniga? Hayo.
Yeah, she fully just says hayo instead of Ohio. She just omits that. So I like a laziness in the teacher. But it's a lazy town, right? That feels right. Okay, and we meet Hotaru. Cool. And she immediately does the writing her name on a thing. Classic. And they're all very interested in who she is. Immediately, as soon as I hear her speak... And I want to look up her voice actress. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, it's Rie Murakawa. I know that name. I don't remember who that is, but I know that name. God damn it, they stopped organizing things alphabetically on Mal. That's really unfortunate. Because it's much easier for me to run through them that way. They're instead organized by date, which, I mean, it works, but I don't think it works as well. So, Hotaru no Non Biyori. She's been in a couple of other Silverlink shows. I'm not seeing anywhere where I would specifically recognize her from. She's Ram in ReZero, but I'm not super familiar with ReZero. And she's somebody in Show by Rock. And that's it. Okay. Cool. I guess I don't recognize her that well. That's weird, because I feel like I recognize her, and I know that I've seen the name Rie Murakawa multiple times in multiple places, but I don't know. Okay, other voice actresses. Renge is Kotori Koi Wai. Komari is Kana Asumi. And Natsumi is Ayane Sakura. So Kotori Kowai playing Renge is a bunch of young characters, because she's good at that kind of a voice. She's some character in Nisekoi. Some child in Psychopaths. And like nothing else that I recognize. Almost everybody... Oh, wow. So they're doing one of those things where different people write the same thing in the comments on a person's page, and they're 284 deep on people saying Nyampasu. So that's a thing that a lot of people care about. Cool. Kana Asumi, who plays Komari, which is the one with the hair, more hair, the sister with more hair. Reno in Princess Connect. Somebody in Grand Blue. Nobue Todoroki, who's not a main character in Sorayori. Somebody in Working. Somebody in Star Muse. Somebody in Nisekoi. Somebody in Croissant. Many people in many things, none of which I think I've seen. Suisei no Gargantia. Jormungand. Okay, things that I have seen, but I just don't recognize her from. Okay. and Ayane Sakura, who is the one without the hair, the sister with less hair. Somebody in Azure Lane, somebody in Radiant, somebody in Darling in the Franxx. Oh, she plays Bort in Hoseki no Kuni? That's crazy. I wouldn't have tracked that at all. Because Bort does a, like, female voice actors doing, like, a deeper voice type of voice, you know? That's cool. That's some range. Now Tomori in Charlotte. And a bunch of other things that I just kind of don't recognize. Cool. That's all the voice actors and stuff. I'm going to check background artist really quick. And art direction. Anna Oizumi is art director. And I don't know if anybody's listed for background. No, only the background artists themselves are listed, and Studio Kusanagi is listed. So Anna Oizumi is the art director, also art director on Batum, also art director on Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Wow. High School of the Dead. Wow. Non Biyori, Non Biyori Repeat, and Non Biyori OVA. Okay, I feel like there are more seasons than that, so not on all of them. Soreke Anpanman, Oreimo 2, but Batum from the New World, and High School of the Dead and Full Metal Alchemist all stand out to me, but also stand out to me as being very different from what we see in Non Biyori, which is this heavy focus on the natural backgrounds and creating like natural light and feelings like that. I think it's really good. I think these backgrounds are great. Especially here in the school, which is where I thought they would like fall apart. But instead, you know, we see that there's like this scuffedness on these, like on the paint on some of this stuff. The shadows behind don't feel like they're digitally, like, I mean, obviously they're digital and they're kind of copy pasted, but they don't feel that way. And the textures feel a little bit more vibrant than not. So that's cool. It looks really good. I hope that this level of fidelity continues throughout the show because I think it looks really good. And here's our setup for these are the people in here, and then we're missing one. Okay, so let's play dodgeball, but in a weird way where I don't understand how this version of dodgeball works. It's like Monkey in the Middle meets dodgeball weirdly, but it's cute. It's cool. And then we, of course, have this moment of, oh, whoa, we're different. Your parents lock your house? How crazy. Why would you need a key? So weird. So you're the outsider in, and it's inside out. Also, the joke with him falling through the floor is great. But, you know, I'm not going to explain humor because you get it. You get the joke. It's a joke. Again, the lighting shift. I think it's really good. I think it looks great on the red tile of the roof. Yeah, I think it looks wonderful. So we have this moment of overlooking, and kind of this is where our difference happens here to the end of the episode. She's overlooking a large portion of the town, and she's not feeling the vibe, right? She's got this sort of pensive look on her face of wondering whether she's going to be okay here, is kind of the vibe that I get, is like, am I going to be all right living in this place? And we invite her over and we do some silly stuff and we take the bus and we go and we talk about a bunch of stuff and we invite her into our world to some extent, telling her all this stuff. No, we don't have a bookstore. Yes, there's a cow crossing, also boars. Welcome to the place. And this is a little bit more cozy, a little bit more comfortable. And special skill. Let's fucking go. And she can't whistle. But somehow it works with the tanuki, which I think is hilarious. It's a great moment. Then she can whistle, but only this way. I can't actually do this myself. I've never learned. I've tried to learn. I've used like a WikiHow to try to and I can't fucking do it. So I get it, dude. I get it, Renge. I like this little setup in the eye catch as well, as we pull back the eye, and it does get paid off a little later. And then the silliness of, let me do this special thing. And then there's also this like big speedline background moment throughout it. I don't remember where it is, but right before she has him quote unquote do the trick, is this big deal that she makes out of it. And I don't know what the trick is supposed to be, and I don't know if she does either. But there you go. Cool. Do we live in the sticks? So she opens that question up to everybody else. And the way that they argue against it is so silly. It's by like narrowly defining what does being in the sticks mean, and obviously we're not that because we have something else. And often the definition that they use, the thing that they have that makes it not the sticks, is like, well, in the sticks you have nothing to do, but we have cows and gardens and stuff, and so we're not in the sticks. Obviously, silly, very silly. And of course, it pays off at the very end where she says the bus at the sticks fucking sucks. Transportation is awful, and I think that's great. Uh, I think it's very silly, and it's a ridiculous conversation. It's a very Lucky Star type conversation. That's what it is. It's a silly conversation between these characters trying to work something out in a hypothetical space that actually the conversation itself doesn't really matter, but it matters because it's a matter of figuring out your perspective on the world and a way of showing us how these characters think, and I think that's great. Yeah, living in a place so inconvenient that you have nothing to do. And I love let's say that it's this. Haha, I will teach you. Well, do you think having cows or raccoon dogs around or tanuki around is actually inconvenient? No, therefore it's not the sticks. Ah, soga. And then, of course, a face. A big old face from Renge. Lots of little moments like punching through the milk, and the milk is the only thing on their tray that isn't probably homemade from vegetables that they went out and gathered today. That's fucking cool. And then we do a scene. And this is like we do a scene here. And a lot of it is build up. Save the Sakura mochi for something else, for a different reason. And we set it up real slow. We don't really go musical with it until a little bit later, right? It's the bird song and the nature, and we soak that in for a while. Just like at the very beginning, we soak that in for a while, and then we bring in the slow piano to bring like an emotional tenor to it, right? And we focus on Hotaru throughout this moment, walking through this forest, and we spend enough time seeing and noticing things, looking up through the trees, looking down at the wood and the trees and the light and the stumps. And I think this is maybe my favorite scene background-wise, just because of the way this tree stump looks, and because it reminds me of walking around in the sequoias in the redwoods. One of my favorite places on earth is in Northern California and up in the sequoias in Sequoia National Forest. Giant trees and giant fallen trees and woods and a feeling of being one with and ever apart from nature. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And that's what this feels like to me. It's very reminiscent of that. So it echoes. And I think it echoes with a lot of people who've gone anywhere in nature ever. But maybe it's new for Hotaru, right? Maybe she's never been in a forest like this, where you look out and it just gets darker and more foresty as you look away. And it's just trees as far as you can see, and ferns down below, and lush, true greenery everywhere with bits of light filtering through. And she stumbles, she looks at her little mochi, and she turns up after stumbling to see these new friends of hers at the end of the hill that she must climb, sort of light at an end of a tunnel. And it's at this point that I think I said, what are we doing here? Because we're doing something emotionally. And I think it's that moment of connection with this place, with this place through these characters, perhaps. Something like that. So she walks out into the light and she emerges camera-wise. And it's bright and it's blinding and it's brilliant. And she sees for the first time what she couldn't see because of the contrast, because she was in her own little tunnel, which is the beauty of this sakura tree and the beauty of this place. And that is one revelation. And then the next is to look out over the landscape as a whole and see it all come into focus and realize that it's all a part of the same thing. And there's this sense of togetherness here, and the music doesn't swell, it gets more calm. And so we go, and we look, and she reaches out and stretches out and embraces the quiet, calm laziness of this place for the first time. And she comes in with the first really true, genuine smile that we've seen from the character. And she accepts that this is a place for her now. And she turns and she looks at her new friends, and they all sit here and they eat their sakura mochi together. And we end it off with adding her in to the whole thing. Dink, 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 dink. And then, of course, the silliness of the final stinger here, which is, when's the next bus come? Man, the bus service in the sticks really sucks. I knew it. That's a well-constructed episode, top to bottom. There's, again, like, it's taken us a while to get through all the stuff that's happened here, even though there are only a few scenes here. They're all really simple. But it all works on this emotional level that gets under my skin and into my bones, you know? It doesn't just hit me. It's not just there. I'm not just watching it. I'm experiencing it, and that's the point. And it means something that it's able to do that. It means that the people making it understand how to get their point across to you. And I think that's really cool. I think it's really, really cool. And I'm excited for more of that feeling because it works, and it works really well. Okay. So we've got a lot of the vibes that I expected, which are these sort of Iyashike, and I understand to some extent the sanenness of it, but I don't know completely, and we'll have to wait and see. But this sort of a healing feeling with a focus on these characters and their interactions and their way of life in that is so dramatically different from most of our ways of life. And I like it a lot. It's pretty unique. And I think it's really well executed here in the first episode. We'll have to watch a few more to see what the format and the flow of these episodes ends up being. But so far, so goddamn good. Good stuff. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap there. Great first episode. We'll be coming back next week, or maybe, I don't know, again, the schedule's going to be a wonky for this one, but we'll be back soon for the next episodes of this show, and I'm probably going to watch more than one episode per week because I don't know that there will be as much to talk about as we get more familiar with these characters, and it becomes less of like, oh, this is new and novel, and more of this is what happens next. So we'll see, but I'll probably be watching 2 episodes per week, or per session, and that should be good. If you like this reaction, you like watching it, and you like the way that I did it, and you like the discussion, head over to the Patreon, or you can like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. But if you head over to the Patreon, that directly helps me survive, and that's important to me, at least. But if you want it to continue, that's a way to support it and keep it continuing. Thank you to those of you who are already supporting it. Shout outs to Slippers and Kania, and I forgot. There's one other person who is full sponsoring this, and I don't remember who it is. I'm sorry. I love you too, but I forgot. For supporting this show more seriously, thank you very much, and I will see you all next time for more Non Biyori. Peace.